Hey guys, Desolator Magic here, and I totally feel like crap today because I was up at 4 a.m. throwing up like crazy. But nothing's going to stop me from making an overlooked but awesome video. This card was suggested by a user in the comment section, and once I read it, I actually remembered seeing it in the past and thinking, wow, that's a bit odd. So of course I had to make a video about it. The card is One With Nothing. For the low price of 1 black mana, as an instant, you can discard your entire hand. Now every time somebody sees this card, it's the same reaction. Discard my entire hand. Why though? Why would I want to do that? So perhaps you've heard of the recently cycled out card, Days Undoing. It was kind of famous for a little bit. Each player shuffles his or her hand in graveyard into his or her library, then draws 7 cards. If it's your turn, end the turn. Kind of a modified fixed version of Wheel of Fortune, which is banned or restricted in basically, well, everything. I don't know, it's probably legal in Commander, but yeah, this card's OP as balls and they ban the crap out of it. That one just says straight up, each player discards his or her hand, then draws 7 cards. Yeah, it's 2 extra mana, and it's only sorcery speed, but a little extra value there considering, you get to replace the cards. So One With Nothing kind of seems like the crappy discount clearance version. Like, yeah, it doesn't cost 3, it only costs 1. Wow, what a deal! And all you get is not your cards back. Wow! Still, what a deal! Okay, you gotta go by the garage sale rules, okay? It's only a deal if you still want it when you get home. It's like the cheap Chinese knockoff version of Wheel of Fortune. In fact, I expect that if you pick this card up and check the seams, they'd just rip right apart like some fake Prada bag. Okay, I'm just kidding. This actually does have a use. I mean, you got your Girl's Masterpiece type cards, which honestly I think this might be the only card like this, but hey, it's a recent example, and I love this card. It just basically gets -1/-1 for each card in your own hand, which is the opposite of Nixithid, which actually is black, so that's unfortunate. But powering up a Garros Masterpiece, I mean, that's awfully particular, and you can't rely on it because there's only 4 of it in your deck, and that's just kind of dumb. That's just like a bad example. I'm thinking more along the lines of something really important that has to do with the number of cards in your hand, like, well, as seen on Overlooked But Awesome, I believe number 6, Barren Glory. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control no permanents other than Barren Glory and have no cards in hand, you win the game. So, probably a reliable way to get rid of all your cards. But let's go deeper. I think the best use of One With Nothing would probably be where the cards go when you discard them, the graveyard. A lot of black decks want to purposely put something in the graveyard so that it either can be, returned to the battlefield, resurrected, Whip of Erebos, just something like that. Something where you bring it back as a zombie or you discard it from your graveyard and make X zombies or, for each creature in your graveyard, you gain 3 life like Crypt Incursion. Something like that. Although this card is a little drastic because whenever you're doing better work, because now you have no cards in hand. I'm sure there are a ton of other card interactions that I don't know of because, I haven't been playing that long and I don't build that many modern decks. But even just looking at standard, hey, Girapur Orrery. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, if that player has no cards in hand, then that player draws 3 cards. There you go. Dump them off into the graveyard, then reload. So yeah, I'm sure there's some sort of decks out there that want you to have either a full graveyard, an empty hand, or both. In fact, you could just use this card to cast a really expensive Delve spell on turn 2. This seems a little thin, but if you started the game with 8 cards because you went second, basically, draw 1 card, drop a swamp, go back down to 7, cast One With Nothing, and then you ditch the remaining 6 cards in your hand, plus One With Nothing itself would go to the graveyard. You now have 7 cards in the graveyard, so all you have to do is magically top deck the Delve card that you need because, you kind of just nuked your entire hand. And ta-da, it could be a total CMC of 8 with Delve. That deck idea seemed a lot better in my head before I actually said it out loud, but you guys get the idea. Maybe a better example would be Madness. You could light off a couple Madness spells all in a row if you had the mana. So this card is not quite as negative as it seems on the surface. There are some fun things you can do with this card, and I'm sure people are going to comment down in the comment section about some wild decks that actually run this card. If anything, I'd put it in my deck just because having 3 giant purple ghost volleyballs coming on my head would be pretty awesome. So this has been your overlooked but somewhat awesome card for the day, and I'll see you guys next video.